Here's a B-Branch construction update.
Last update kind of talked about the launching pit on the one side where the tunnel will actually be initiated, and then the receiving pit on the other side of the railroad tracks where they'll actually be tunneling to. So what they've done since then is they've started putting the pieces together, or actually equipment together that will do the actual tunneling. So from the micro tunneling boring machine, have that on site, brought that in, ran their diagnostics on that, just checking the things out. They have the control room here, or the control apparatus where they actually have the computers that will drive the machine, make sure that it's on grade, make sure that it's going at the right speed, not too fast, not too slow. And then the other part of one other component is the separation plant. So the process works where, as the microtunnel machine goes into the surface, it's grinding the soil and earth away, and then it picks it up and it mixes it with a watery slurry, and then it pumps it all the way to the surface. And then it goes to the separation plant where it first kind of brings out shakes out the heavier stuff, goes through a centrifuge where it separates the water from the solids, and then it gets kind of deposited on land where it'll dry some more. As we're talking right here, they're in the process of really starting the operation. One of the first things they had to do in terms of starting was, the sheet piles that go into the ground that form the launching pit. So they had to actually cut out, a hole for where the tunneling machine will go in. But what they don't want to have happen is once you remove that, have soil kind of fall into your pit. So there's another set of sheeting behind it. And so they remove the initial sheeting, put the tunneling machine up against the other sheeting, which is called the guillotine sheeting, and then they pull that sheeting out, and then away the tunneling machine can go. So once it's solid up against that soil, the part that's painted white with the monster's face on the front of it, that's the actual tunneling machine itself. The other section that's kind of behind it is called the jacking frames. So that's what actually provides the force to push the tunneling machine forward. So that's against the far wall. And then there's a couple of blue sections that are either spacers, because they can only extend so far. So they might have to pull those jacks back, put a spacer in, and then go forward. That's the main colored items. The pipes themselves are like a dark gray, blackish color, and so the very initial one is cut to a certain length, and they got the very first section of pipe set up right now that'll be drawn in. And then once that gets to a certain point, they'll drop a new pipe in, push those joints together, and then start pushing it and continuing that process. It's a lot of work, and it goes slow. Like we said, we don't know how fast it's going to go just yet. They hope to get in about 30 feet a day. They're probably working 10, 12-hour days. That whole time they're not tunneling. Some of that time it's stopping to, for example, let a train go by, or it might be they've got a section of pipe, or they got to put in a spacer in. So there's going to be little times when they're not tunneling, but they figure 20 to 30 feet a day. Roughly a week to get from the launching pit to the receiving pit, give or take 7 to 10 days. And then they have to remove the tunnel machine from that side, bring it back over here to the launch side, and I'll get ready for the next tunnel. They expect to work continuously. They want to minimize stoppages. They'll probably work through the weekend. We're going to try to get it done as soon as possible. In terms of noise, there's really only generator noise. You can kind of hear maybe in the background right now. The separation plant, again, has a little bit of a noise, but really kind of a low hum. So it's not going to be like a pounding or anything, really obtrusive. The tunneling underground won't really make any noise, or you won't hear it from the surface. So hopefully the distractions or the disruption of the public will be pretty minimal. You shouldn't really feel any vibration. They had to use a vibrating machine to remove those additional sheeting, the guillotine sheeting. But other than that, the machine itself is pretty seamless. It's all done underground, and the face just kind of moves around, not perfectly singular, but it has teeth, and it just kind of, works its way through. So it really doesn't have any hammering or jacking or vibration to it.